Welcome back to another episode of Legion. So, this episode is a very special one since it is Black Veil Brides Month. This will be releasing on Black Veil Brides Day. Chris and I unintentionally are matching, but as you know, Knives and Pens came out on this day. So, before we dive into kind of just the beginning of the band and some fun facts and the first record itself, um, Black Veil Brides is still on their tour in the UK and the EU. They just had the Munich show, and then they'll be doing the unveiling shows in the UK. So, if you guys are going to those, let me know. I'm very excited. I loved seeing some of the content from the unveiling shows that they had here in the US that I unfortunately could not make. But there's always something special about smaller shows and the intimacy, and you get kind of extra things with those. So for those of you who are going, have fun, enjoy it, be safe, drink lots of water. And then, of course, we recently got Woman Pain music video released. That was actually released yesterday as of recording this. I had seen it when they had dropped the record because I had done the pre-order of, I don't remember which one it was because there were like several things that were going. Was it the
Was it the
Diggers?
Veeps? Was it the
Yeah,
Veeps
Veeps.
one? Was that what
Yes.
it was? Yeah.
Yes. I was like, which one was it? Because
Yeah.
there was Diggers and then there was
I
Veeps.
couldn't remember either. They had multiples that they did, but I think it was the Veeps one.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you got the Veeps one, then you got that early. And of course, we got the preview of it with WrestleMania, the song, not the music video, but the music video itself was filmed by Joshua Schultz. As we know, he is pretty involved with the band and he's worked with them plenty of times. So it's always a treat when Joshua is working with the band again and giving us some content and some videos and pictures and everything. So if you haven't
Yeah.
checked that out, you need to.
These are like minimalist music
Yeah.
videos that the band shot. They literally were rehearsing and
Yeah.
they decided that they wanted to have a visual representation of every song in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
So Joshua, who was there with them taking pictures and everything else, he recorded these songs so that they would have that for the fans. Even
Hey.
I still think that compared to the rest of the videos, this one really works
Yeah, it
because
does.
we don't have the typical Black Veil Brides performance video that we normally would have in the past. And
Yeah.
this song in particular, it fits so well because the song is so like heavy and out and there, and you just kind of want to see the guys performing it. So
Yeah.
I
Without
like
all
it.
the theatrical stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the theatrical stuff, but when you've got a song like this and you kind of have it simple for the music video, I feel like he gets it's a little bit better in my opinion.
We get
But
to see more of
anyway,
their faces, not as so
yeah,
quick cuts.
yeah,
We actually get to
yeah.
spend a little more time seeing the band like we're used to.
Finally we can see Lonnie and Cece more.
Right, exactly.
Especially
Exactly.
Cece because he's behind the drum set all the time.
Right, right. You get to see a lot of Cece in this, particularly when they go to the machine gun type drum thing, and then Cece's just whipping his hair around and all the rest of that. Yeah, it was weird to see video from the recent shows, though. I don't know if you've seen this of Wade playing drums. I saw a couple of pictures of Wade,
I have not yet. I
and
have
it
been
was
off of social media for a little bit,
it
so
was weird. It was just weird. He dyed his hair black. He's got blonde
really.
hair. Yeah, to fit the guys to fit with the rest of the band. He had blonde hair. I saw pictures of him recently when he played with Godsmack, and he had blonde hair. But to be in solidarity with the boys from BVB, he freaking dyed his hair black. So
That's awesome.
God
I
love
did
him,
not see
man.
that yet.
I'm happy that they've got a friend and a guy that they know who could step in a very difficult time for Cece and his dad. He was, he's been in poor health for a long time, and Cece just wants to be there for his dad
Yeah.
at this particular time. And we love him for that. That's one of the reasons that we love CC so much is because he's such a good guy and such a caring, concerned person. That's why, like I said, Andy and everybody else in the band felt like it was imperative that he be able to go home and be with his family at this difficult time. And, the adage, the show must go on, applies,
Yeah.
but I think it's it's never going to be the same to not have Cece behind the kit Uh, but at least the band can fulfill their obligations to the fans that bought the tickets and wanted to see them on this European run.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean family comes above anybody else
Yeah.
unless of course you don't have a good family, but when it comes to touring and stuff, there's always something that happens. So I'm glad that CC was able to get back and be with his family. And BVB can continue touring. So, last thing before we jump in, the fall tour is coming up here August and September. So if you have not bought your tickets yet, you should go get those now because they will be selling out pretty quick. The spring tour and even the UK European tour has been going significantly better than some past tours. So it's good to see a lot of shows are either almost sold out or completely sold out. And then there's of course VIP available, so get that while you can.
Are you going to the Iowa show?
I am, of course, yeah.
Good, good. I'm go. I
I
might go. I might go to. I'm definitely going to St. Louis because my parents and my sister and her family live there. I love taking my mom and dad to the shows, even because they're getting on in years, and it's a lot of fun for them to see their grandson playing these shows and everything. But um, I'm really excited about seeing the going to Milwaukee and seeing some of my family there and going to a show with them. So
I knew I should
hopefully
have gone to Milwaukee instead.
Milwaukee is definitely in the cards. I might just fly into Milwaukee for that show.
So, Knives and Pens was released many, many years ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I didn't even discover the band until 2010. So, I was in middle school when I discovered Black Veil Brides, and of course, the first song that I heard was Knives and Pens. I had only discovered that song because back in the day, when iTunes or whatever it was at the time, it was iTunes. They used to do suggestions and stuff when you would go in and look at the music. And I
Yeah.
was at the time really into Linkin Park. My older sister had recently gotten me into My Chemical Romance. So just based off of those bands, it came up as one of the songs that I should listen to, and I listened to it, and here we are. I actually didn't watch the music video until probably a couple months after I started listening to the song, but
Oh, so
my
you didn't even
first,
see you didn't see the video. You just heard the
yeah,
song
yep,
at
just the
first.
song, and
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
yeah, that's I usually don't remember too much from middle school, but I do remember like anytime I hear or I came across a song that like blew me away, I'll remember it. Same with when I was in high school and stuff. But obviously, as you get older, your mind kind of starts to lose it a little bit. So, but yeah, at that time, I in middle school, I was kind of, I don't know, I wasn't really part of a group in general. We were kind of the group of friends that we had, we were kind of just, I guess, the outcast. We didn't really fit into any kind of particular group or clique that we had in our school. So we all listened to different kind of music and everything. We didn't really have a particular type of like emo kid group. So uh, I would listen to different music than what my twin sister was listening to, but that was okay. And a lot of people didn't really care too much about what music you listened to. Was obviously it was more so about how you looked and how you dressed because middle school, high school, that tends to be the thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get to really express myself aesthetic wise until I got to about I want to say my sophomore junior year of college. I actually started to get a little bit more comfortable with myself. So
Right.
uh obviously music played a huge part in that, and having a better friend group and uh learning more things about myself helped a lot, and getting therapy and all that. But uh yeah, did not watch the Knives and Pen music video until significantly later. So I was basically basing all of my knowledge about the band just off of that song, and then later on that whole record. So I mean, I didn't really tell my parents about a lot of the music I was listening to because at the time we were just going to Styx concerts and all that. So I mean,
A little
thankfully
bit
my
different,
dad,
but
a
still
little
rock and
different,
roll.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We my dad and my mom were very much, they raised us on rock and everything. So it's
Yeah.
their fault that we go to so many concerts now. I try and blame them. I
Of
was
course,
like, you can't be mad at me.
that first music video. What did you think when you saw the image? Was that something that you were familiar with? That kind of like gothy emo style of image, or I guess with
Um,
My Chemical were,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, when you watch Helena off of their Three Cheers album, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so cool. I like the imagery and stuff like that. So then when I eventually watched the Knives and Pens music video, I was like, okay, I really like this. I like that they put in, like, I liked that it was all white initially, like
Mm-hmm.
their thing. And then I was like, okay, well, I didn't know where it was going with it because, to me, the song, I was like, oh, this is gonna be heavy. You're gonna be wearing like all black. There's gonna be like something brutal or
Yeah.
whatever going on.
Yeah.
But then the storyline, I really liked that they had that, and a lot of people could relate to that. I wasn't bullied to that extent, but middle school, high school, I got bullied fairly frequently. But storyline and everything, kids can relate to at the time. I mean, a lot of us were growing up at a time where social media was becoming a thing. MySpace was a thing, and not only were people experiencing things, in real life at school, outside of school, but, online it became a presence as well. So having that imagery helped a lot, especially for people that are young, like at the time. I was like, okay, this is, you know, the to me it was like the I'm glad I'm not the only person that has experienced this. Somebody who's in a band has experienced this, so I'm not alone on this. So it kind of just drew me in that way. But I want to hear your thoughts on the music video, Chris.
Well, there's only three people in the music video,
Yeah,
and uh, the one, the drummer is Sandra Alvarenga, who was a friend of Andy's first girlfriend or first real girlfriend, Scout, way back in the day. We met in Los Angeles when he was there to do some auditions for TV pilots and some commercials that he wound up getting. And so that's how he met her. He found out from Scout that she was a drummer and she was in LA doing that. And also Chris Blueser, who went by Chris Hollywood, was the guitarist. And he met him in Cincinnati because he played in a band that wound up playing in the same venue that the old version, the high school version of Black Veil Brides played in. So because they were both in LA, he was like, "Do you want to be in this music video with me?" Andy wrote that song actually about 2 years prior and recorded it a year prior to even coming to Los Angeles. So the version that's on the music video is literally um, Chris Stewart, who was a friend of Andy's, and some other guys that were musicians who were in and out of Black Veil Brides, recorded it in a local guy's studio.
yeah,
And people always say, "Well, why does it sound different than the one that's on the first album or whatever?" And like, because that was just a song that Andy had that he
yeah,
had recorded, and we actually sold CDs at the shows with that version on it, and it never could make it to the actual. It couldn't make it to. We sold it actually on iTunes, so you could get that for a while. You could get that version, but if it had them playing on it, then we couldn't use that as a for a band. So
yeah,
the music video was a project of Andy's and um, Patrick Fogarty. Patrick Fogarty met Andy on a movie set when Scout was making Halloween 2, I believe it was, with the Rob Zombie directed
yeah,
film. And so, because Andy looked the way Andy looked, Patrick assumed that Andy was in a band. And Andy, who was freshly 18 at the time, said, "Oh yeah, I'm in a band," which he was technically, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Didn't have any band members at that time. And so, but he did have that song, and it was
Yeah.
a song. It was very. It was a big, very popular at the shows that the Blackfield played. So we knew that it was a song that had a possibility. But I said to Andy when he got to L.A., we need to have some kind of something that uh, record labels can see, because it's going to be hard for you to get enough shows in LA with the
Yeah.
competition for venues there. If we can get a music video for you, maybe you can get some more interest, because he already had some online some buzz and interest, and record labels had at least contacted us about the band in the past, but no big labels and no firm commitments. Local radio, local people wanted to record him or whatever, but that didn't come into play until this music video came out
Yeah.
at a time where algorithms were not as the YouTube algorithms were not like monetarily um, driven.
Yeah.
Like now you can boost your algorithm by paying more money to
Yeah.
you or for
I
ads and everything else.
yeah.
And in those days, when YouTube just came out, it was literally about if a video got hot and kids like were going to see it. And that
Yeah.
drove the. So here's a video of a band. Now, the beginning of that video is the West Memphis 3 trial, the
Yep.
West.
Yep. I was
And a
just
lot
gonna
of
mention
people
that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know what that was, but Andy was like really into the whole idea of how effed up it was, because Andy was that kid in school who wore black and had the eyeliner and everything else, and teachers would and principals and vice principals, everybody would give him a hard time about it, and he was very much driven to the idea of these poor kids got literally charged for crimes they didn't commit, and almost entirely based upon what they looked like.
Yeah.
And so the guy's talking about they paint their, which is weird. They paint their hair black and they wear black eyeliner and
No.
like
Yeah.
lipstick
Well,
and their nails and
yep.
this and that. So that's why Andy wanted the beginning of the video, the first image, to be of this white thing with his makeup and everything else would be more striking. And
Yes.
so that's why that was, because I know there's so many people that watch a video and go, well, they're talking about black and wearing black, but they're not wearing black. It's like, yeah, I know. And it's it's not lost on people with an intellect above 60, but
Yeah.
IQ above 60, but it is lost on a lot of people,
It is.
unfortunately.
Yes.
But it was immediate, like a sensation on YouTube,
Yeah.
and that's what got record labels initially to reach out and contact
Yeah.
Andy. We're in the past, when he was here in Cincinnati, and even when he got to LA, and he was selling the song, and he was making enough money from that, he was able to at least eat and do some things that he needed to do, contribute to rent and stayed with somebody, or continue to pay his car insurance and all these other things that he needed to do. He was able to do that. So yeah, in a roundabout way, when the music video was what we had hoped it would be, because we helped contribute to, and well, they didn't spend a lot on it, but trust me,
Yeah.
they had a sound studio that they went to in Hollywood, which cost money.
Yep.
And Patrick was doing it gratis. He was doing it as a friend, and they didn't have a lot of money. Oh, and they also had a bass player who, as the lore and the story is, and this is true, because Andy called that morning and told us that they had a bass player who was supposed to be there. They had actually rehearsed the video, and he couldn't come on the day of because his girlfriend's dog or something died. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. The guy who never made the music video, who could have been in one of the most popular music videos of the scene
Yeah.
of all time. If he was a musician, that was a bad move. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that I remember. And Andy said to me, "What do I do?" And I said, "Nobody's going to give a shit about a bass player in this. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be negative about bass players." I said, "But this video is literally about you, Ange. You're gonna make it. It's gonna either make or be broken by you on the screen, and I have
Yeah.
confidence that you'll own this thing." And
Most
so
people,
it
when
turned
they
out
watch music videos, are going to be looking at the lead singer anyway.
yeah.
So,
Well, and Andy in that video in particular, his imagery and his face and the things that he does, he knew he was going to have to carry it. Project. It was his band. He took a major risk leaving Cincinnati 7 days after he turned 18 years old, quitting high school, and
yeah.
and going to L.A. and not even having a place to stay. I
Yeah.
mean,
And it was, I,
I guess technically the plan was to stay with Scout, but Scout was
yeah.
living with somebody else, and so
Yeah.
that was kind of a questionable situation. And he
And then he was living
it
in his
turned out
car for a little bit. And
right.
then,
It turned out that he wanted, but that was a smart move on his part. I know
yeah.
people think that it was the worst thing possible, and yeah, it doesn't sound great, but
But
staying and parking at a rehearsal studio in Hollywood where guys from rock bands were coming in and out all the time was a way for him to kind of get people to know who he was.
yeah.
They used to, in the old days, they would go to parties and this and that and everything. But for him, he looked the part, and guys would be asking him, "Oh, what band are you in? Or who are you singing for?" Or whatever it was that he would tell him. And then he wound up meeting people like the guy from Wasp, the guitarist,
Yeah.
Holmes. I can't remember his.
Yeah. Well, I feel like in the music industry, especially, it's all about the people that you know, it's about the connections and stuff. I mean, you could say that maybe being a musician in the world of the digital realm is a little bit easier because you get a little bit more traction and stuff. However, on the flip side, you get with that traction, that attention, you get more people hating on you, leaving dumb comments, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Which you
yeah,
could see
that's
with TX2. But the with the music industry, it's a lot harder than what people think it is. And I mean,
yeah,
I'm not even in the music industry, but I have a concept of what it's like just because, I've been to so many concerts. I have spoken with people that are in bands or I've worked with bands before I mean, it was just merch, but you know, it's it's a whole different it's a whole different ball game. There's a lot of people involved into it, and it's not just a band. It's basically a business at that point. So, I mean, for
yeah.
Andy
Andy
to,
calls it. Andy, it's like a circus that travels
yes,
around the country oftentimes,
yep,
and or Andy calls it the pirate ship. You know,
yep,
you're on, and it's there's a lot of parts that go into it, and I think that the fans who you get to see more of the behind the scenes kind of people like Chevy and like Jesse who's the merch guy, and you might see the crew or other people when the show's over with. If you're having a meet and greet with one of the guys, you might see them unloading all the stuff and putting it
yeah,
in the behind the stage and all the rest
yeah.
of that. So
Just the
I
sheer
think that's
production
an
of it all. I think
element.
a lot of people don't understand that. So
Yeah,
for like when I see people get upset over them canceling a show or something, it's like you guys, it's not just the band. Like they have a whole crew. There's merch behind them and all this stuff. So I mean, like to leave Cincinnati and do that is like I mean it's a risk, but it's a good risk that he took because I mean now look at them. They're fairly successful, well, very successful, and they're doing world tours and all that. They've had multiple like songs go platinum and gold and silver, and uh, they've released so many albums and EPs that have gotten their own successes as it is. So I mean to see the band grow from just this small band to something that's so much bigger and that is so powerful because not only are they, growing as a band, but their fandom's growing and you get to meet a lot of people, um, a lot of different fans and stuff that, come from different backgrounds, different stories and stuff. But you're you're meeting fans and you're connecting with them because of this band. So even going to like a live show and stuff to experience that, like, I mean, my niece who's she's just turned 10, is standing next to these
Hmm.
40-year-old girls. One show we went to on the Bleeders tour, there was like an 80-year-old woman there. It was great. She was rocking out. I was like, see,
Yeah,
this is what I like. I
that's
don't
it.
think I've ever been to a concert um in the 70 plus concerts I've been to that there's that much diversity in the crowd and everybody's
Yeah.
there for one reason. So uh Andy succeeded in doing what his intention was with this band, and that is something that should be admired and should be talked about a lot more than what they are. So
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I agree with you 100%. The inclusivity in the community that Andy always wanted for the fan base has come to fruition over the years. And I think that that's something that, we talk about on occasion, and I post about on X, but it's something that I know personally that Andy really takes a lot of pride in, is that this fandom is now known for being inclusive and supportive of each other. It's a really cool thing, and I think that if you asked him what the over the years what has meant the most to him, that would be one of the things he would definitely bring up.
yeah, I mean, obviously with every fandom, there's bad apples here and there, but I mean, all the other fandoms I'm part of, I feel like there's a lot less drama, a lot more people that are supportive of each other's projects and videos, and people are sharing other people's things. And now we have podcasts and Discord and all these other platforms that, wouldn't really happen without fans. So I think that, you know, having a band that's like that, and even the other bands that I'm part of, there's not as much involvement and not as much of like this feeling of community that Black Veil Brides has. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably why I have one of the many reasons why I've stuck around with this fandom for so long. And I know that's a reason why a lot of older fans have also stuck around. So um
Andy. Andy loves CD. Uh, there are certain fans that you're included in that group that he's seen dozens of, and he's um, looking forward to. He knows you're going to be in a city, or he's coming to a city where
yeah,
you normally go to, or whatever. They're all looking forward to
yeah,
seeing you guys because without you and the diehard fans, they any new fans. The diehards have kept this thing going when
yeah,
a lot of people said that Black Veil Brides was going to last for a year, and then they were going to last. Well, this is it. Their second record, it's over, and then the third record and the fourth record, and it just kept going on and on. Where there's always been naysayers, there's always
yeah,
been critics, but I always would say, well, you know this from seeing my posts, you can't ignore a number one record, and if the fans want it to happen, their mouth is, it's going to open some eyes, and the fans did the job this time around. They really did. And it
yeah,
includes buying a lot of vinyls and buying a lot of CDs, which in this day and age, not a lot of bands have that loyal fan base that wants a physical copy
a hundred
something
percent.
because they love this band so much and they love the merch and they love all the things that go with being a fan of Black Veil. So yeah, I mean, I this band for that happen.
I'm
Okay.
gonna run through all the records, the dates and everything. So this is so much. Like if you see it on paper, like you know how many that they've released, but when you see it written out on
Yeah.
paper, like holy shit. Okay, so Knives of Pens was dropped June 17th, 2009. Um, We Stitch These Runes was dropped July 20th of 2010, and then Set the World on Fire was June 14th of 2011. Gretchen Divine was in 2012, and then the Rebels EP was December 13th of 2011, so that was released before Wretched and Divine. And then
Mm-hmm.
BVB4 So their self-titled album was dropped October 28th of 2014. And then we got
Mhm.
Veil, which dropped January 12th, 2018. Restitch that they had done in 2020. This was July 31st of 2020. And then we got, oh, I skipped the night EP. That was November 29th of 2019. So that was our first
Yeah.
introduction to Lonnie.
Yep.
Yep. So that was, I mean, nobody was expecting that.
I
I
was.
remember, well, shut up, Chris. I meant like fan wise. Like
I
I just
was so
remember I
excited.
know
I
Ruth
was.
had said something. She's like, nobody was expecting this. Like we were like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Um, and then
Well, you knew who
uh
he was on the tour, right?
well yeah.
On the Ghost of Ohio tour. Yeah.
Well, I
Everybody
didn't make
kind of
that
knew who he was.
connection until I didn't make that connection until like after I watched the videos. I was like, I feel like I know who this person is. And then like, you know, and you go on social
He
media
was
and
the
you're like,
guy that he
oh
was the guy
God.
that moonwalked in his. He was the guy that moonwalked on the stage in his sliders or
Yeah.
whatever
I was
that
like,
he
oh, it's
had.
the
You
guy
know.
with the poofy hair. That's probably
Yeah,
why I
the
didn't
guy with
recognize
the
him.
poofy hair. He didn't. He played
Yeah.
guitarist on that.
And then after the night EP, we got The Phantom Tomorrow that was released October
Yeah.
29th of 2021. I vividly remember that because I was like, it's close to Halloween, my favorite holiday. And then the Morning EP was released October 21st of 2022. Then we got the Bleeders EP, and they dropped that June 21st of 2024. And then Vindicate, of course, dropped May 8th of this year. So a lot of albums, a lot of
Yeah.
EPs, a lot of bangers over the years. So with this album,
Yeah.
I feel like the band has gotten a lot of traction with it, and I think part of it is they're creating an album and a era or aesthetic that they have wanted for so long, and they're finally able to have a little bit more creative freedom with this. So, uh, knowing that
Yeah.
and then listening to the record and everything, and going over the meanings behind it and everything was very, very much a treat compared to other albums in the past. So that is all I have for now. All for the episode. Huge thank you to Chris for joining me in on this episode. It was so much fun to discuss the band, of course, as well as some of the early stuff and, of course, how much the band has grown over the years. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you're following me on all my social medias linked in the description below. I will be doing a restock here pretty soon of the Black Veil Brides tarot cards. So if you didn't get them this first time that I had them, there will be another one coming here shortly. Of course, I will make announcements on that on my social medias like my Instagram and Twitter. I do have slots open for custom boots, custom vests, custom jackets, bustiers. I'm also taking commissions for merch designs, tattoo designs, portraits, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, make sure you go check that out. And then, of course, stream Black Veil Brides as much as you can today. I hope you have a wonderful Black Veil Brides day and enjoy the rest of the Black Veil Brides month. There will be more episodes coming out here shortly. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in the next episode. Stay rad.